So don't count on this being the last taking action video. There'll probably be one up next week. Alright, and just like in last video, this is another one on taking action, but there's going to be a lot of awesome stuff in this one. Now let me explain this video before I go on with the video, as it's going to hop back and forth a lot. See, I originally had an idea for this video that turned into a different idea that turned into a different idea, which I would have had to make separate videos. I ended up wanting to go over taking action, obviously, but I was wanting to give you a bunch of links, a big playlist or something of what you can do to begin learning candle magic. Because as I said that I'm making a course, I ended up finishing it. I typed it all out, everything like that. Not word for word, but I have the general rubric. It just has not been recorded. And there's one thing that I realized. I realized that I don't really want to teach the basic stuff. I'd like to maybe, because there's so many different practices and cultures and different ways of doing it. I want you all to find your own way, find your own path, And then, I might make an advanced candle magic course where I go over a few little things, tighten some bolts. But I don't want to go over, the very basics on, all right, this is how you do this, I didn't want to make a course where, that's all you hear. Like I was planning on in the beginning, everyone goes over, what magic is. I was just going to say, there's not a damn soul on earth that doesn't know what magic is. So we're moving on to the next step. And to be honest, I don't want to go all over the color correspondences and all that, because that's in every single one. And so I was setting up to have put together a bunch of videos, and then as I watched them, I was like, you know what, I really don't like these. I like some, I don't, but then also it was just a big jumble, and I said, fuck it. I was actually starting to get a little bit irritated. I was trying to figure out how to make a PDF.
And navigate to the link icon.
This is freaking pointless. Which I ended up watching the whole video after that, and it was very informative. But I didn't decide to do that. So what are we going to be talking about today? Okay, so today, as I said, it's going to be about taking action, but I said, screw it, why don't I just teach how to do candle magic on here for now? It's at its most basic level. Oh my god. I did it. Alright, so a few videos ago I said I was going to make a sigil for Red Dice in the Road. Completely forgot about it. Completely forgot to post it on the Twitter. Bam! There it is, alright? And let me get a picture real fast. Okay. So, it's time to do what I've been here to do all along. To teach 12-year-olds how to do black magic after school.
I used to be a heavy New Ager.
Yeah, I'm totally just kidding. But that's exactly how it's going to come across to some people, so if you're already thinking about it, you might as well get off before you start getting me extra watch minutes, Alright, so before we go into this, I do want to mention something that this video was almost going to be around. As I said, it was changing ideas, and as this video will hop around a bit. There was a lady that I found. I don't know too much about her. I know she worked for the IRS. I know she's written some books and this and that. But either way, I want to put a video right here for you.
Hi there, this is Sherry Peel Jackson again. I think this is going to be my last video. I need to go have some fun. Anyway, I'm over here by the pool, the quiet area. Hopefully nobody will interrupt us, so that I can talk to you a little bit about multiple streams of income. That's one of the other things that wealthy people do. They have multiple streams of income. So one of my mentors says, start a business, get that up and running, and start another one. You all know that I'm a proponent of home-based businesses. Home-based businesses make a lot of money. Once you get it up and running, you have to decide or figure out what's the best business for you. And there's a method to do that. That's what I show to my clients, because some of them want to pick things and they have all these great ideas, but that's like, baby, it's not going to make you any money. So what you need to do, first of all, is figure out what home-based business you want to have. Having a home-based business does more than bring you more income. It also reduces your tax liability. Remember when Hillary Clinton said, Donald Trump didn't pay his taxes? And everybody said, oh, well, he said, I'm a smart man. And Donald Trump is a smart man. You know why? Because he's a businessman, and the tax code is written for businesses. So you need to learn how to write off everything but the kitchen sink. See, when you have a job, which you all know is just over broke or jump out of bed. When you have a job, it's good to have a job So you can take care of your bills, you can take care of your mortgage and your rent and all of that. That's what my dad used to call beating the drum. But then when you go home in the evening, don't turn on the electronic income reducer. You all remember I call that the TV. Don't do that. Take a couple of hours, maybe an hour, decompress, and then start on your home-based business. Because that's the only way you're gonna go forward without having to go backwards, because you're gonna stay in the same place if you just depend on the job. Saving does not make you wealthy. I'll say it again, saving does not make you wealthy.
Now, that's not the entire video. That was just a tease. I want you to actually go down in the description below, click the link, and go listen to her. Either way, here's what the whole point of the video is about. Candle magic. Okay, so candle magic, which, how does this fall into taking action? Well, because you wouldn't believe it, people won't even take the time to buy one of these. You know, spend a little time in their own thought, thinking, you know, and they don't have the time to burn it, apparently, you know. You've got the same time as everybody else, and if you don't have the time to do that, then, you know, I don't know, do something, whatever, do something else. Either way, for those of you who are curious, go up to your local New Age shop. This is not going to be an all comprehensive candle magic course. I'm going to call this the bullshit magic course, because really, I'm just going to say what everyone else is spending hours and hours and hours talking about online anyways. Alright, so you go to your local New Age shop, you can pick this up, any type of colored candles. I get these the best because they burn quickly as hell. I either get that or votive candles. There are pillar candles for other reasons, but this is the basic shit that we're going over, the basic stuff you can add to what you're making sigils with. You can carve the sigils onto these, as we'll find out. But either way, let's just pick a random one. I'm going to go with black. Alright, so you go to the store, and what I would do is I wouldn't just pick things out for what you want right now. I'm not like, I want some money, so let me go get a green one. Or, you know, this chick's hot, I want to tap that. I'm going to get that red candle. Buy at least 2 or 3 of each color. You know, have an arsenal, have an inventory. This bag is not just the only bag that I have. But either way, so you go get all the candles that you can for now, and if you take everything that we've learned in the past videos on planning and timing, incorporate this in as well. Basically, you figure out what your goal corresponds with, what color, what planetary force out of the week. We'll list these out right here just for you. Alright, so we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Alright, and so if you want to plan it planetarily. So this would be the day of the moon. This is the day of Mars. This is the day of Mercury. This is the day of Jupiter. This is the day of, oh crap. Whoa, that was so wrong. Mars. Did I even say, I said Mars and Venus. Either way. Day of Venus. Day of Saturn. Day of the Sun. Okay? So, and then we'll also go over the colors too. This will be basic. Alright, you got your silver. You got your blue candles. Some people do purple. Depending on the operation. That's a little bit deep for now. As I said, this is a bullshit course. You know, this is for people who have no clue what this is and they want the information really quickly without all the complicated, oh, do you buy the candle from somebody who does magic? Do you go to the Walmart, the TJ Maxx? Screw that shit, alright? So, Day of Mars, alright, so that's going to be ones that are red. Mercury, it's going to either be orange, I've heard sometimes yellow, but I don't know why, because I save yellow for the sun. Yellow and gold. And so we're going to go over basically most of the candle colors. Now, alright, so blue fits here better than the moon. I would say that I'd keep it to silver and purple. You know, you can use them both. I have before, but if I have the chance to get silver, I usually always do. And it's funny because also purple can be changed out for Jupiter as well. Very deep violet type of that color. Alright, and we've got green right here, and then we've got black, which reminds me, another one you can do over here would be white. So really, I would say white and silver for the moon, blue and purple for Jupiter. Alright? And so, if you want to bring the numeral correspondences in with it, let's give them their numeral value. Moon's number is 9. Mars is 5. Mercury is 8. Jupiter is 4. Venus is 7. Saturn is 3. And Sun is 6. And so how could we use these? How could we use these? Alright, like, let's say you bought a bunch of candles. You could use 3 black candles on Saturday to, Saturn, you use that for banishing. You got a bad habit you want to banish, do it on the day of Saturn during the waning moon, and have 3 candles there with you. Incorporate it how you feel intuitionally. Alright? And so, for now, we're just going over correspondences. What else can we do? There's different, incense correspondences, that you've got your frankincense for the sun. I think I spelled that completely wrong. You've got, people always say that cinnamon is Mars. I've used cinnamon for things Jupiterian, and so I am going to put that right there. And I know people are going to be pissed about it, but it's a bullshit course, and if you really are upset about a bullshit course, then you're bullshit. Alright, Saturday, Friday, I don't have all of them memorized off the top of my head. Screw it. We really need to go as simple as this. Alright, so what's the point of this? Alright, so here's where our goals correspond. Let me make this a lot neater, because I don't know why I did that. Alright, so with the moon, I use the moon for all things influence. And this isn't just people. Well, I mean, as you could think, all of this is an influence. But what would I specifically use the moon for? Well, also anything astral. If you're wanting to astral project, if you're wanting to, lucid dream more, that's all the moon stuff right there. A lot of people will use psychic attack operations during a mixture of the day of the moon, hour of Mars, or day of Mars, hour of moon, as we're going to go on. Next to Mars. Mars is usually used for attack. Not going to lie. It is that driving force. You can also use it for motivation and drive. That's what these are good for. See, a lot of us want to do the things. See, this is freaking plan of action right there. That's what we need to be working with. So make sure you get a freaking red candle, alright? And so we're going to move on. Oh, here, let's write it right here. Moon, Mars, Mercury. And I know I'm not listing off everything. I'll come back and do it. Mercury, all things intellect. Intellect. Bring me wisdom. Let's say you're studying something for an exam and it's just not freaking making sense. Like, when you're just reading something over and over and you're like, I cannot get it. Mercury is your best friend. And so, what else is it used for? Well, all things travel, all things electronic, your phone, things that you communicate with. Communications. And I'm going to show you how to mix up these. So, see, remember as we were going over influence right here, if you want to influence, let's say you're about to do a speech, and you want to influence a crowd, Moon and Mercury. Now, if you're a motivational speaker, you're going to want to work with Mars and Mercury. Oh, it's starting to make sense already. I can already tell. All right, and another big thing Mercury is used for, and that is the big B word. Business. Business. Those of you owning your own business, get in touch with that. Get in touch with Mercury. If you've got a business, if you're running a business, that's what you should be working on for now. If you're lacking some drive, Mars. Either way, going on to the next one, which is Jupiter. Jupiter, the planet of expansion. Alright? You want to expand something? in your life, expand more love, you know, Jupiter and Venus, as we're going to go over pretty soon in a second. You know, it can expand your pocket, you know, your money. See, money also corresponds with Jupiter, but it also corresponds with Venus as well. See, Jupiter is, here's a good word for it, royalty. You think Jupiter, think of royalty. Think of the benevolent king. What else is he good for besides just, you know, expanding things? Well, Jupiter rules over all things that are funny as hell. You're a comedian? Or you know that one guy that's like really funny, but he's got a very booming personality. It's a good placement of Jupiter in their birth chart. Now, a lot of people say that business also goes hand in hand with Jupiter. I can see that. But either way, for now, we're going to be moving on to the next one, which is Venus. All right, Venus, that Aphrodite planet of love. Beauty. All you ugly motherfuckers out there. Hint, hint. Fertility. Fertility. Screw it. Alright, and as we said, also money over here. But you see, Venus rules over Taurus. Taurus also ruling, you know, the second house, the house of, you know, material things, possessions, money, your values. And so while money corresponds to this in, like, you know, our value sense, Jupiter corresponds to it in the royal sense, in my opinion. That luxurious life, rather than, you know, the person who lives in the perfect small home that's just the right size for them and they're very comfortable, you know. That'd be the comparison between Jupiter and Venus, because Jupiter, as its expansion, it doesn't know when to stop sometimes. And so how do we bind things? Well, that's the next one. Saturn. Saturn is the big bitch. Not in a good way or a bad way. Or if you want to say it, you could say that it's both. All things binding. All things black, too. That's its color, you see. We've got the board. And also another thing it corresponds to is form. Everything physical, everything in form, you know. Before it's thought, it comes into form. You see how it is, as we have the paper, as we have the board, you know, I'm writing on the board, I wouldn't be able to communicate the idea without that writing. And no, I'm not talking about how the writing is black. But what I'm saying, though, is the form within the empty space. See, it's Saturn that'll bind something to create its boundaries so that it can be defined between something else. Because if something is just all, there's nothing to distinguish it from something else. There is no something else. And so, we all need to know our limits. Saturn is limits and limitations. Alright? Banishing any people out of your life. Banishing any bad habits. Saturn is good for pushing away. Now that's not the only thing it's good for. As, you know, kids, you'd think this was a limitation, but it's something that we all need. Discipline. Saturn is great for discipline. Getting you to grow the fuck up sometimes. Saturn will tell you what you don't want to hear. It's that one parent that you don't want to go to them first. You want to ask the other one, and then because the other one said no, you're like, well, I might as well go to dad. It's like that, in a way. Either way, moving on. We'll come back to these, as I said. Now we've got the sun. You wanting to shine? You want to shine out? You want people to notice you? The sun, alright? Now the sun also has a bad problem of, you know, corresponding to the ego. Now, you don't work with the sun to work on your ego. You work on a mix of these. Saturn and sun, the binding of the ego. You see, the ego can shine out, but it can shine too bright, and you're just a cocky asshole. That's just how it works. The sun is also good for healing. Healing. It's good for if you want to be noticed. Things of that nature. And so I know that not every goal can fit into one of these, but I tried to put a few keywords. We will go over more on this channel, definitely. I know this is the BS candle course, but over time, if you stay with the Self-Mastery series, this is going to make a lot of sense. I just need y'all to take action quick. But, so you go to the store, because I'm already making it ridiculous. You go to the store, grab a candle. Let's say we want to banish debt. We want to quit spending all the money that we're getting. Now, you're probably going to automatically assume, well, Saturn and Venus. And this is why it's going to help to have an understanding of astrology as well as the zodiac signs, because Scorpio rules over debt. And the ruler of Scorpio traditionally was Mars, but it is now Pluto. But there's not one for that on the 7 days, because back then we could only see 7 planets. And so, in my opinion, would you go with Mars? Well, those are two very heavy planets to work with, you know. You're working with binding and, like, drive, you know. Starting out, you could just say screw it and try it. But to be honest, since you cannot work with Pluto, because these are the things that are going to pop into your head as you study more astrology and you study the zodiac signs, you will get confused. It happens to all of us. You'll be like, well, I want to banish that. Who do I work with? You know, Mars or Venus or Mercury or Jupiter, or, you know, obviously not that. But either way, so what would you say spending much money would be? You know, out of all of them, as we went over, Venus rules Taurus, you know, our material values. If you're one of those people that are blowing it on material values, I would work with this. Because we all spend our money on different things. You see, if you are using all your money to spend, like, you know, to use, like, hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month or a week just to make your face look good, you know, and I know it sounds like I'm shit-talking girls doing makeup, but if you're spending money in a very egotistical way, you know, I work with these two, Sun and Saturn. And so you see how you can mix and match these different energies, and this is not the only explanation of the planetary energies. I want you to go out and watch other videos. Now, either way, so what do? So we go out, we obviously get a black candle. Here's the black candle. We can get 3 of them with one. I've only got a second one, so screw that. We're using 2, alright? And so I'm going to obviously do it on a Saturday. But what hour could I do it in? Well, I could do it in the hour of money. But also, if you think about that, you've got, you know, binding love, binding beauty. Is that something that you might not want to happen? It doesn't always happen, but I'm going to be honest. What I would honestly just do if I was trying to, you know, banish debt, I would just do it on Saturday in the hour of Saturn. And so you get your candle, get the right color correspondence, look up correspondences of herbs and incense and incorporate that as well. You can roll the candle in a certain oil, and then you can roll it through the herbs, and so it'll be like really, you know, weird feeling, but you're not going to be playing with the candle. So you get the candle. Here's what you can do. Remember when we went over sigils? So you create your little doohickey, your little sigil. Let's just say it looks like this. Let's say, screw it, we'll do a money sign. We don't want to banish money. Let's make a weird version of the money sign. Let's say that this represents our debt. Let's say you made a sigil and it looks like that, or, you know, it can look like this, and I don't know, whatever you want to do. Either way, so you take it and you carve it into the thing, right? You carve it right in there. You're using your visualization that they teach you in the law of attraction and everything else, because they go really deep into that shit, and only that topic for some reason. And you start feeling as if, and you're visualizing, and you're putting the energy into the candle. Now, I don't care what your beliefs are, it doesn't matter. If you don't believe in energy, just look at the candle and just imagine that it's happening. Because as you try this and take action, this shit really works. So, you take the candle, you carve your sigil into it, pop it in a candle holder, light your other candles that are on your altar, your coffee table, the floor, you could be on a patio with a table, doesn't really matter. And so, what you do is, you gaze at the candle, light it, well, basically you just set it in there, you light it, and then you just gaze into the flame the entire time that it's burning down. You're like, whoa, that might take like an hour. well, how bad do you want it? I mean, you can also leave it out. I mean, you can, but in my opinion, I would at least want to sit and charge it for a good 30 minutes, sitting, holding the candle and visualizing it going into the candle. And then I would just light it and just let it go while I'm doing something else. But you want to put some work into this. You don't want to just bullshit it. I know this is the BS candle course, but you don't want to bullshit this thing. And so, take the candle, you carve it, you either charge it. If you don't want to charge it, just light that sucker up, gaze into the candle flame while you're visualizing and feeling it as if it's happened. And after it burns all the way down, as we said, you just forget about it. It's like nothing. Alright? Nothing. None of this. I know, I'm erasing it. Because guess what? And just like how we do in magic, we move the fuck on, guys. We just keep on going. And that's going to lead me to our next topic in this video, because we're not even going over candle stuff anymore. This is literally how fast you need to move on whenever you are doing these things, because if you get locked into your head and then you're like, did I do this wrong? Did I do this wrong? It doesn't matter. Keep moving on. And so we're done talking about candles until whenever I want to talk about it again. So moving on, let's talk about taking action. So you need to look at what you can do right now. Now, if you've got some money, if you've got enough money to have internet to watch these videos, you've got enough money to go pick up a candle. So go do that. Now, if you don't want to do that, and if you didn't watch the video that I put in this, if you just don't take action, if you're just watching me, I mean, thank you. But you need to look at what you can do right now. I see so many people, they don't take action because they'll start thinking. I'm not going to lie. I say that a lot of people just don't sit and think, and I know a lot of you do, but you don't think in the right way. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you'll sit down and think of what needs to be done as like the whole room being a mess instead of looking at it in portions, as I said. And so you'll focus on the things that you can't do right now. And that's why we went over in the last video, breaking down the goals into 3 steps. Huge goals, big goals, goals to get you there. So these ones are building up to fill this one, and these ones are filling up to fill the big one, to really fulfill you, because it's you. The more action you do, the more you fulfill you. Now, that's subjective. I know that. But either way, if you're sitting there focusing on, something that takes like 20 steps of action, and probably at least half a year worth of time that people usually take to move that far, action-wise, and you're looking at the one that's all the way in the back, of course, you're not going to take action because you're just looking at that one. It's like, hey, look at this one. The first step. Do the first step. Look at the second step. Do the second step. Stop looking at the big picture. Now, it's good to look ahead. See, it's like traffic, If you're just looking like 2 car lengths ahead of you and there's like no cars, somebody could pull out and you don't see him and you hit him, right? But also, you need to be looking out ahead. But also, if you're looking too far ahead, like you're going down the road and you're looking at the green or red light that is like 5 lights down the road, you might run the red light that you're at right now and get hit. And so what do? Do we focus on the next step or do we focus on the big plan? Well, we do it by focusing on both. Now, we don't focus on the big thing as a problem. We focus on it as a task. Because that's all it is. It's a task that needs to get done. And there are steps of action to get it done. And so you have to start doing the first thing, then the next thing. And don't look at it as a problem. It's just something you need to do. It should be a duty because, if you just push something to the side, you're not moving. And if you're not moving, you're practically just dying. Because don't we all just only have time here? And as I've said before, time is change. And if you're not changing, nothing's going on for you. Let me ask you something. I don't want to put any idea out there on what the afterlife is. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to say what it is. I can't say what it is. But I want to ask you a question that should make you think. Do dead people experience time? And obviously, no. And if you're not changing, are you still experiencing time? Yes, you're still experiencing time. You're in the same place. And that's worse than being dead. Because, in my opinion, if you're dead, that's your excuse for no change. You can't change. And so you need to take the steps of action. You need to look at the big picture ahead, not just the big picture, but also what needs to happen right now. And so there's a big part of looking at what you can do, and a lot of people only focus on the big picture or just the small part. And you can't do that. You have to do both. It's like driving. There is a balance to everything. And for people that don't take action, it's hard to get into the feel of it. And, you know, you start doing it, and then you'll fall off, and there's like this like regret factor or just this feeling bad factor. And you just got to keep getting up. That's really what it is. Another easy way to figure out what you can do now is to look at you and identify yourself. Identify today. Identify the problems that have come to your head that you haven't even experienced. Let's say you've just gone to work and you've come home. That's your physical experience, but mentally you've experienced your breakup from last week, and you've also experienced this and that. You see, there's always the other side. You know, you've got the physical things you experience, and then you also have the mental. And so you need to look at both sides and look at what's going on with you. Are you in debt? Are you lonely? Are you in need of just something exciting? Are you already healthy? You know, some people are just trying to get healthy, and then, you know, the people that are healthy are just trying to get fit and even healthier. You see, identify where you are, because a lot of people, they have this self-image of them that's really way lower than them, and that's why you have to bring it up, and then you end up moving up. And so this self-image of you, you need to identify what it really is. Where are you really? You need to think. You need to calculate. You need to use some numbers. You might need to pull up your bank account. You might need to actually write things down. But you need to identify what your current physical, monetary situation is, what your mental, you know, your love life. Like every stage, you need to identify it before you can figure out what you can do. Because if you're just talking about what you can't do right now, you're wasting time. Like, okay, you know what you can't do, what can you do? And then no one can ever freaking tell you. Okay? And so this is really how you do it. And if you do take action on these things, it works. It really works. And sitting with yourself and just thinking is a good way for that. You know, as I say a lot of the time, meditation. You know, I talk about how I don't want to go over it because, as I said, there's many practices and cultures and other things like that. And, you know, there's a lot of people that get into different things, different meditation, stuff like that. And they end up just, you know, going all out and getting all the bells, the robes, and everything. And they end up looking like a warlock. You know, if your specific practice calls for that, it's like, okay, but then you're like the other middle schoolers who just checked out the local New Age shop. And so you kids out there who have never meditated before, or any of you, no matter how old you are, and, you know, especially if you're living with your parents, you know, just use yourself. Otherwise, you're going to come across in a really weird way to them, and the unexpected change is going to just not be good.
You're going to get a call from the principal saying that your child has not been at school for 3 days. You're going to have to face it. He's been spirit walking, wandering the lonely places of the earth. And I asked him, why do you think you need this wand? Couldn't you conjure up some passing grades instead?
It's kind of like that. But either way, so how do we meditate? Basic meditation. I've given you several meditations already. The middle pillar, you know, with different visualizations, different vibrations, and, you know, different mantras and stuff like that. But at a most basic level, because a lot of people try different meditations that they see online, they try to do it for a couple weeks, but then they don't really feel nothing. They feel something for the first week, and they're like, there's nothing anymore. And it's because you need to practice meditation. You have to flex the muscles before you can, you know, start running the mile within this time. And so another big thing also is people expect too much. You know, this is why I don't like the New Age channels. You go over there and you're expecting to be like this freaking Dragon Ball Z character. Like some literal weeaboo shit. And I know a lot of the people in this community, most of those people are weeaboos. Most of those people have some sort of anime collection hidden under their bed. I can guarantee that for a fact. But either way, you just sit down with your own body and you shut up. You just sit up, you just sit and shut up. You know what? Here, look, get a whiteboard and just draw. As I've said, just focus on a point. Start focusing on the point physically so that you can, you know, distract your mind with something, because I know it is hard to clear your mind and just not think. So give yourself something very simple, you know, or if you can't do that, just focus on something on the wall. And if you can't do that for some reason, just sit down, close your eyes, and step back from the thoughts as if they're a river and just notice them. Just observe them. Be aware of them. And I know this is very simple, and a lot of people love the complicated stuff. They expect so much out of meditation. They want to be a Dragon Ball Z character. Nobody wants the simple, boring stuff, but that's actually how you get it done. That's actually how, you know, you wouldn't. I'm not gonna go off on that, but either way, so you sit down and you shut up, and that's it. And I know it's that simple, but dude, just only 5 minutes a night. Just do it 5 minutes a night for an entire year. Do it for an entire year. And you know, a lot of people want the next level. They want the next stuff. They want to do all the other stuff. But you need to master that. You need to master mindless meditation. You need to master, you know, cutting off your thoughts as much as you can. As much as you can. You can't cut off thoughts entirely. But what you can do is you can distract your mind with something as the thoughts just drift. And you will find your literal center. Alright? And so, for those of you with whatever problem's going on, I know a lot of people are like, meditation solves all these problems. And you know, you'd expect all these people who meditated to be the most healthiest motherfuckers on earth. The thing is that a lot of people are just hopping from practice to practice. Want to try this? Yeah, I got my spirituality ego badge. And that's it. And so just practice mindless meditation 5 minutes a night. Give yourself the discipline to do that every single night for an entire year. And just start practicing with that. And if you want, after a few weeks, I mean, you can do whatever you want. You know, you can look up other meditations. But if you do this meditation, it'll be way easier to do the exercises given later and the exercises that you come across and all the different meditations that you do want to try. You know, I see people online, they're like, I can't visualize this. And they're like starting with, you know, some big elaborate ritual and meditation, and they haven't even worked with something as simple as a dot. Basics, basics, basics. The fundamentals are everything. The foundation is the most important part of a house. Now, I know there's probably some people out there that do construction. They know the real answer to that. But it sounds like some cheesy Instagram shit that people can relate to. So, either way, what's the point of this video since I've been jumping around all a lot? Number one, take action. Take some freaking action. Go jerk off on a candle. Do some candle magic, you know, whatever. Study. Even though I didn't even go over that, but yes, please study. Don't just take my stuff. This was a BS course. And then, last but not least, sit down and shut up. Practice meditating. Practice taking action when you're not in meditation. See, because a lot of ideas are going to come to you while you're in meditation, and you need to write these down when you get out. And then you need to act upon them. You know, I kind of like having the whiteboard, but at the same time I don't. I feel like I'm just over here like talking to the freaking board. But either way, if you enjoyed this video, share it with every single person you know. And if you don't do that, I really don't care. If you want to see my last video, you can click right here. And if you want to see my last video, click right here. For everybody that watched the entire video, remember, don't be a fucking warlock, you know. And click right here if you're sexy to subscribe. I will for you all to prosper, and have a great day.